Okay, so what parts of the saddle? And this is going to be the main theme for this little series on saddle slip, because a lot of times you just have the wrong saddle or you have the wrong saddle tree. All right. So when I say the wrong saddle tree, I mean what tree in that model, in that brand, do you have in your saddle? Do you know? You need to know, because it's each model of saddle within a brand has a tree line. Like they might have the warm blood tree, the cob tree, the thoroughbred tree. You know, they have different trees for different shapes of horses. The straight back, the uphill horse, the flat back, the curve, the high wither. Okay, so that is what needs to be known for sure before you ditch your saddle, or before you don't ditch your saddle. I don't want you to do all this work to amend your horse and yourself, and then you're still riding in the wrong tree. Okay, so that definitely has to be considered. So okay, so we'll start with the tree. And I just have a couple, like this is a thoroughbred, maybe warm bloodish tree, and this is a flatback horse cob type tree. Okay, so what are we looking at? What's the difference and why does it matter? Okay, so what I want to show you is the rails, and I'm just going to use this to kind of show. Okay, it's like maybe a 45-degree angle. Okay, so those rails are quite angled. The other thing I want you to see, and I'm going to start from behind the tree plate, and I'm going to come back. Whoop, I can only go back, what is that? Not even maybe an inch. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just trying to give you a visual representation of where this tree, because this is the tree, this is the one part of the tree, these are just the springs, okay, but this is the tree that has to have clearance on your horse's back. So if you're, you know, what, not even I have big hands, not even 4 fingers through this waist here, then you don't have a lot of room there. Okay, so if your thoroughbred's high withered, you're probably going to have some bigger different panels on here. Okay, this is just the tree. It's going to lift it up off the horse's back, but that's something to be aware of. Okay, sticking with that same subject, let's look at this one. Now this is made for obviously a bigger, broader horse. They're both basically hoop trees for all intents and purposes. Not every brand calls them a hoop tree, so don't get all hung up on, oh, that brand doesn't have a hoop tree. Do they or don't they? They might. Okay, I'm taking the same phone case. I'm up against the back of the tree, the actual head plate, and I move back quite a bit more. So starting where your trapezius muscle is, right behind, you know, your tree points, where your withers need to lift, you know, you're going to want to know what that distance is. Now, every brand with their line of trees, most of them have between 7 and 14. Some of them only have like 5. Your polycarbonate molded trees in your, you know, your Wintex and stuff like that, they have 1. Okay, they have a regular and a wide. So but it's all molded together, so you get the angle you get. So this is why I want you to get comfortable with this. Also, this angle here, it was about here on the other one. This one's much greater or less than a 45, depending how you look at it, and it's just flatter. Okay, so that's the other thing, is just we're looking at the curve. Okay, so this is, I don't know, normal, fairly straight back, curves a little bit at the end so that you can have a lift through the back, so that you don't have to worry about the horse running into something. This one's got a bit more curve to it. Okay, so I I don't want to get into too much right now because every tree is different. Every manufacturer is different. I looked up, I have a database for all the, like the lariat and the different tree manufacturers, not the brands, not your Black Country, Harry Dobbs, Love and Ricketts, so not the brand. Ideal, there's several of them that make their own trees, several of them buy from lariat. There's, you need to kind of get to know it because you need to know, especially if you find a good old used gem, you want to know what tree's in it. So I can help with that, but I'm hoping that this gives you a little indication that don't assume. And I know so many people ask me when I'm out in a fitting, well, what brand do you think I should get? My friend told me that a County might work, or a Black Country or a Frank Baines would be a good saddle for me to try. And I'm like, well, that's like just the starting point. So like, okay, then you got to pick a model. What model do you feel would best suit your horse? And that's, a lot of that's the comfort for the rider, the seat, what comes with it. But then each model is going to have a different tree, typically, not always. They're all different. So each model will have different features for the panels. And that's what we're going to talk about next is, I mean, just what I'm talking about is the panel shape. So are they, you know, a drop panel, like a K panel, which like comes out to here and it really will fill in a wither hollow? Are they like this that are made for horses with a large shoulder where they just end rather abruptly? Now these saddles will fit wider. Is it, in my slideshow and whatever video this ends up in, will show some more examples. So please look at the rest of the videos. The panel, this is a like a short performance panel. You can see it just ends right away, curves up. Sometimes you need more. This has no gussets. If you need a gusseted panel, and I can show some of those too, you're going to get some height. You're going to be able to, like, let's say you got an uphill horse. You don't want to put a saddle like this on an uphill horse and have it just be like this. Because it'll follow the horse, it'll be uphill. You're going to need the right tree, and you're going to need to balance it out so that that horse can have it match its back properly. So we're still talking about the tree. We're talking about tree features that are part of the tree that, or, okay, the panels aren't part of the tree, but they have to be ordered, they have to be correct, okay? And the other things that part of the tree is like the stirrup bar location, and is it, you know, set back enough for you to be comfortable? Is it in the right position for you? And I've got a whole thing on that too. Just ask if needed. The other big thing is the billet location. And I kept this saddle, I have not sewn this back on yet. So this saddle panel is typically sewn to the flap, okay? But I left it like this because I was like, oh, this would be a good time to make a video to show you guys the different billet configurations. I mean, there's lots of them, but this is a dressage saddle, obviously, so it's got long billets, and this is the rear sliding billet. Obviously, you can see it's just self-leveling, okay? And then if you lift the flap, there's two billets here, and there's an extra one. This is a point billet. So I've used this and found, even though they're not very far apart, and sometimes they are, sometimes this next billet is way over here. Sometimes you'll just have two that run straight out of the, straight out the middle of the saddle, kind of like this, but they'll be straight, and that's going to give you a whole different ride, especially if you have a horse with a forward girth line. The billets are hung on the saddle the way they are. Yes, a lot of things can be changed out. You don't want to mess with too much. If you have a billet option here, and another strap here and a rear swinging billet, you're probably good to go as far as your flexibility. So those are the features: the panels, the billets, the stirrup bar location, of course the seat depth and all that, but that's, you know, if you're going to buy something used, you're going to have to just kind of figure out how you're going to want to sit. What do you like? Do you want a flat seat like this? Do you like some depth? Do you need a sharper rise here? Of course, it depends on your horse. This is a wide saddle. It's got a wide twist. It fits a wide horse. And that you're going to have to, unless you're going to do something to have some custom features that give you a narrow twist on a wide saddle, that's where you're at. You're going to have to consider that before you buy your horse, hopefully. And then the shape, the angle of the rails, of course, all the way through, the width between them, the length. That's another thing that's going to be in the PowerPoint. It's the actual length of the tree. I did a blog on that a little while ago for short back horses. And just because a saddle curves up at the back like this does not make it a short tree. That's not a short tree. That's a short panel, okay? There's a difference. All right? Thanks for listening.